Hello guys, how you doing? Hope you are doing fine. Today's lesson is about what is the water cycle. We're gonna go ahead and explaining that, but before this, let's watch this video.
Our topic for today is water cycle. The sun heats up the water from oceans, lakes and rivers, and water changes into water vapor by the process of evaporation. Plants also lose water in the form of water vapor from their leaves into the air by the process of transpiration. As the water vapor rises up into the air, it starts cooling down and forms tiny water droplets. These water droplets come together to form clouds. This process is called condensation. When the clouds start getting heavy and cannot hold the water droplets anymore, they fall back to the earth in the form of rain, hail or snow. This process is called precipitation. Some of the water that falls on the earth seeps into the ground. This water is available to us in the form of groundwater. The remaining water falls back into oceans, lakes, rivers and seas. This process is called collection. Then the sun starts heating up this water once again. This circulation of water is called water cycle.
Hope you have enjoyed the video, and now let's go in more details about water cycle. First, in a previous lesson we have talked about water in general, and we said that as long as there is the water cycle process, the water is a renewable resource. Okay, what do we mean by water cycle? Okay, water cycle is when the water moves from Earth's surface to the atmosphere and then the water falls back again to Earth's surface. So this is the general idea about the water cycle. Okay, before I start explaining what is the water cycle, okay, and going in more details, do you remember what are the three main phases we have in water? Yes, we have the liquid, the solid and the gas. Liquid, we found it in the water bodies like the lakes, the ponds, seas, oceans, okay, and the solid, we can find it in the ice caps and glaciers. The gas, we can find it in the water vapor. Okay, now, so you have to put this in your mind. Sun is the most important factor in the process of the water cycle. Why? Okay, through the sun gives us the enough heat to heat the water, and the water will change to be vapor, and we call this process the evaporation. What do we call this process? The evaporation. Okay, so if I ask you what is the evaporation, you can tell me evaporation is the process of changing the water into the water vapor through the sun. Okay, now look at this picture here, okay, and you can see clearly how the vapor here. If I ask you to draw an arrow, explain to me what is the evaporation or how it happens, what you can do. Yes, like this. Okay, so the evaporation starts from here. First, the sun gives the enough heat to the water, and the water will change to the vapor, and we call this process the evaporation. So what happens when the water changes to vapor? Okay, the vapor rises into the atmosphere. As it rises, the water vapor cools and change to droplets of liquid water, and we call this process condensation. So what is the condensation? You can tell me condensation is the process where the vapor cools and changes to droplets of liquid water. Okay, now what happens after the condensation? The clouds form. When the clouds form, when water droplet and ice crystals gather in the atmosphere. Okay, what happens next? When the cloud gets heavy and full of water droplets, it starts to rain and the water will fall again on Earth's surface. So this is the process of the water cycle. First it started with evaporation, then condensation, then the clouds form, and then at the end the rain fall again. Okay, and any form of water falls on Earth is called precipitation. What is called precipitation. So what is the precipitation? Precipitation is any form of water falls on Earth is called precipitation. Okay, so and this includes the snow, the rain, the hail and sleet. You could ask me what is the hail and sleet. It's kind of frozen water. Okay, now look at this picture here. It explains us how the different forms of the different phases of the water. Okay, how it started with ice. With enough heat, the ice turned to the water liquid or the liquid water, and with enough heat also the water turned to vapor. Okay, now after explaining these processes, the evaporation, the condensation, and how the precipitation, now if I asked you what is the water cycle, what you can tell me? Yes? Okay, so water cycle is the movement of water from Earth's surface to the atmosphere and back again to the Earth's surface. We have seen how through evaporation and then condensation, then the form of the cloud, and after all we have the precipitation. Okay, look at this here. Okay, this explains us how the ice change into liquid with enough heat, and the liquid will change to vapor, and the vapor will form clouds, and then the clouds will be heavy with water droplets, and then it will rain. The water droplets will fall again into Earth as rain. With enough cool, they will change to ice, and again this is the water cycle. The picture here explains us in more details. Okay, look at the ocean. Okay, what rises from the ocean? The vapor, and we call this evaporation. As the vapor rises to the sky, it changes into water droplets, and we call this condensation. Okay, in the sky, the water droplets gather with ice crystals and form the clouds. Okay, now the clouds, when they become heavy and contain a lot of water droplets, they start to rain again, and we call this the precipitation. Number 4. Okay, now the precipitation, what happens after it? It forms the water bodies, the oceans, or if the water soaks into the ground, it